I got annoyed that I had to unsub from Despot of Antrim. Man, I don't know. Supporting the chuds, but you're not a chud. This is like a new. Is this gonna be the new breed of grifting? Just because there's so many controlled opposition type people. You know, in the gaming space, Asmongold is the biggest one. All this is clicky since the beginning. Since Channel Awesome and Screw Attack, it was clicky. Critical, Asmongold, Turkey Tom, these type of people who just produce dog. Do I review movies too, or am I focusing on games? Well, I try to only review movies if they're game related. I have reviewed a few Cape movies in the past, but that was a long time ago now. There's actually multiple Chud movie reviewers. Despot of Antrim, that's what I was thinking of. I like Despot of Antrim. His vids are pretty good. It's true, I did do Barbie. Yeah, Barbie's probably the one movie I reviewed that didn't really have anything to do with my interests. I just did it for the Ryan Gosling meme. Yeah, I've seen Reaper's channel before, yeah. It's unfortunate Despot of Antrim schmoozes up to Mauler and FNT. Does he really? Dude, this love... Does he even realize Mauler likes all the gay love he criticizes in, like, the British ads and stuff? Has Mauler even seen that British ad video? That's pretty bad. I really did get kicked out just for criticizing the gay furries, and that's it. I'm so tired of this internet click. Love. It's so pathetic. I'm British? I don't know what ad you mean. We're talking about Despot of Antrim's vid about British ads relating to like white genocide stuff, which Mauler thinks all of that is schizo and reading into it or whatever, and doesn't care about any of the woke stuff as established by the God of War Ragnarok stuff. So that's not a good look. That's not a good look. Have they called me antiseptic yet? I'm sure behind closed doors, all the Friday Night Tights people have talked about me being antiseptic, almost certainly. Like, there's no way that hasn't come up in conversation when they all decide to not associate with me. I just can't believe Despot of Antrim associates with them, because I'm pretty sure he's also antiseptic, but, you know. I guess it's fine as long as you're more subtle about it. I don't believe in subtlety. Despot praised sinners? Did he actually? Ooh, I might have to take back my compliment then, if that's true. Drinker has talked about you to Mauler in the stream. He called you a bad take machine. A bad take machine. Wow. It really showed me. Coming from, like, the non-take machine. He doesn't even have takes. That's kind of crazy. How could Despot of Antrim make that British ad vid where he points out basically the erasure of whites and then not understand the not even slightly subtle subtext of sinners being anti-white? That's a pretty big red flag. I don't know. Another grifter for the list, I guess. It's a pretty long one. I have to unsub. Bad take machine is such a tame insult. Well, yeah, all they just say is I have bad opinions. I'm never a liar. They never call me a liar, of course. Just bad opinions. Life is easier when you assume everyone is a grifter. Well, I've never seen someone go as far as him and be a grifter. Like, because that British ads video that he did was really good. But I guess he flew too close to the sun. Maybe as a handler. A lot of these YouTube people have handlers. I would have assumed I would have got one at some point, but if I was supposed to have one, they never contacted me. The main reason I'm going to be real as a content advertiser, you don't know the right guy. No, I know all the guys. It's just none of the guys will support my content. YouTube is extremely incestuous. Like, if you've been paying any amount of attention, I've been watching YouTube for 2/3 of my life or more. All this shit is clicky since the beginning. Since fucking Channel Awesome and Screw Attack, it was clicky. You know, that was in the fucking mid-2000s. It's been like this the whole time. I have been exiled from all of the groups. Dang, Despot of Antrim's praise for sinners is on discussing Oscar movies with Greg Owen. Yeah, so, you know, damn, that's another one. I'm probably going to forget, so I'll just unsub now. I wasn't watching that many of his videos. If I was, I bet my schizo notice thing would probably have caught on by now. but I wasn't watching that many of them. Well, Type2Productions and Tryedz don't really count because they're kind of like in the cinematic universe, so to speak. like Tryedz literally is in chat and has been a bunch of times. I can't remember if Type2Productions ever chatted, but they're definitely chuds. Those two boys are chuds, 100%. I watched Despot of Antrim's Worst Movies of 2025 video. I could tell he wasn't a chud. Yeah, it's brutal. It's hard in these streets. It's funny because, like, I watched... this is not really related because a lot of these people are millennials, not Zoomers. But recently, I watched... who was it? Like, Right Wing Coalition, I think. I can't remember the channel's name. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Yeah, him. And he's making a video. It was called Gen Z from Liberal to Far Right. And it's basically just, like... a brief history of the events that led to a lot of the Zoomer chuds. I think it was a decently made video. It was coping hard at the end, though, that he was basically implying that Zoomers will take power and wield it properly. It's like they're never going to let those Zoomers have power, at least not in that way. Like, you have to seize it yourself. There's never going to be a Hitler running for president. You know, the way the political system works now, that's just not possible anymore. But anyway, the point of why I say this is there's still way too many people who got stuck by the conservative gatekeepers because there's so many controlled opposition type people. You know, in the gaming space, Asmongold is the biggest one. But when you have these, like, center-right, if you can even call them center-right, but I'll be generous to say center-right, the libertarian type people, when you have millions of them, you know, still demonizing far-right ideals, then it's a lot harder to get the noticing off the ground. But yeah, there's a million of these people in the film space. Again, it's like an entire gross, incestuous fur love clique. Just like between EFAP, the Friday Night Tights stuff, that whole, it's so many. Again, lefties, there's a grain of truth to what they say. The problem is they don't even understand their own terminology. Like, when I first heard grifter, the picture in my head was immediately like Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic and those type of guys, you know? That works, you know, under that definition. But the problem is the love among them, which is most of them, just thought it meant anyone who's right-wing is a grifter. It's like, okay, well, this is now complete love mode, and you killed the term immediately. Like they do with any effective insult. I mean, there's a reason I've used chud ironically since I heard it for the first time, because of how dumb it is. I checked the Despot of Antrim live stream that someone mentioned, and sure enough, he unironically said that he loves the history of black dance scene and sinners. Brutal. Dude, this might be schizo, because you could say it's a coincidence. I know, again, preaching to the choir, because usually you guys side with me on the schizo stuff. Not always, you know, memory runner situation. But most of the time you side with me. But have you guys been noticing there's been a lot more YouTubers lately who will tease the chud audience? Like, again, the British ad one was very racism-pilled, I'll say. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could say it's more normie-friendly than any video I've made, at least in the past 4 years. But but it still at least, like, felt like it was courting the chuds. And another example was Master Cheeks' channel, right? Like, Master Cheeks felt like he was courting the chuds. Because these people know deep down it's a growing audience, but then they have contempt for us. Me, I've expressed my love for the chuds. Always the chud lover. The biggest chud lover there is. Anyway. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I hate chat. But conceptually, you know, I've never hid my political opinions, ever. You know? I mean, except in the beginning of the channel. But ever since I revealed my power level, I've committed to my power, you know, my actual political beliefs the whole time. So everyone else, it just seems like you could say it's an accident, maybe, or they just kissed the wall. Maybe all these YouTubers, like, they get hit up by whatever the
Israeli YouTube Israel.
I don't know what the fuck it is.
They kiss some kind of wall and then they cuck immediately.
And since they knew I would never do that, they never even asked me, so I can't expose the truth. Because you know I would immediately. I would immediately tell you guys what the wall is for YouTube. But it never happened, so I don't know. I think Deranged Doomer's Grifter? No, he's a synth cell. As a Cheek said, you and Andypants were mentally graped over the woke stuff on Discord. Mentally graped. Okay, this sounds like some coping and seething. Yeah, that makes sense to me. No, the difference is I actually believe in... I don't want to shit on Andypants because I have no real motivation to, but there's a reason that I will probably never directly associate with them, that's for sure. No, we're not going to do Doomer Hour stories. I'm tired. Right now, I'm just rambling about drama shit for the millionth time because I just kind of got annoyed. I got annoyed that I had to unsub from Despot of Antrim. Man, I don't know. Is it because he's British and doesn't understand the African-American situation? We'll put it at that. Maybe. A lot of Euros don't seem to understand the situation here, and I can't blame them too much. Because despite being 13% of the population, they're in like 80% of advertisements, and almost all those ads are interracial. So, you know. But obviously, I'm just a schizo-racist for noticing that, I guess. Yeah, the thing is, like, all these guys you guys are naming, like Old Sterling, another example, I don't really count these people if they are fans of me. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, like, there's no... Like, every single person who I know likes me has viewed my content, if that makes sense, right? Everyone who doesn't directly watch the SyntheticMan channel does not like the SyntheticMan channel. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. I'm extremely polarizing and pretty much always have been, even before the more political days, when it was just me shitting on modern games. Big Bungie seems to understand the black situation pretty well, so even though he's a little brutal with his bullying at times, he is genuinely one of us. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything against him personally. I just don't like bullying type content anymore, and haven't for a long time. I definitely liked his boys reviews. The thing, though, the weird thing about Big Bungie, though, is he never found himself in that type of controversy. He just got banned for being edgy. I've been in a million, like, people, you know, other YouTubers shitting on me situations by now. Thoughts on Brittany Venti. Just another what does it say? I noticed she got back in the algorithm by shitting on Quartering, which obviously Quartering deserves it, but it's just, I don't know, like... I don't know. I don't care for this shit. Big Bungie masses power level with humor to the average normie. I don't think those are normies watching this channel. I'll just be honest. I mean, there are some people who are dumb enough to think it's all ironic, but to be fair, again, Master Cheeks. To some, it is just humor. Another one was like Shredded Nerd as well. There's way too many. Yeah, that was another example I was forgetting, where you're like courting the chuds, but you're not a chud. This is like a new... Is this going to be the new breed of grifting? I mean, again, I am not friends with any of these people, so I have no motivation to support them or lie about their type of stuff. I'll expose all the shit. I don't care, you know? Yeah, the Actman Andypants debate was pretty bad, yeah. Whereas It's a Gun, I'm falling to the scale. He's not a full chud, but at least he roasts women. I do like that. I'm the same as you guys, where I stopped watching the vids just because it was the same edits every time. Which I get because he makes all his own stuff, the only way to churn out videos fast enough is to get lazy with certain things. But I did get tired of the same edits. But yeah, he's not really a chud, but he does shit on women, which is funny. Yeah, I mean, everyone's insulted me, though, is the thing. Neither the left or the libertarian right like me. The only people who like me are chuds. That's it. If you ask someone how they feel about the SyntheticMan, and the only people who say they like me are going to be chuds, period. That's the litmus test. That's the litmus test. I'm left and I like you. Well, then you don't like me and you're a tourist. I need to do outread to Cyael. The last I heard of Cyael was just him being annoyed with my Dragon's Dogma 2 microtransaction take, even though I was correct. It's just people didn't listen. Cash Money, thanks to the £5. Just checked, and Despot actually said Sinners is obviously not anti-white, brutal. Yeah, no, dude. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. The problem is, no one's going to listen to that clip. Nobody. Nobody's going to listen to that. If I go on a podcast right fucking now... Well, no, you guys are a bad example, but... Because you guys, a lot of you guys are drama whores. If I had a slightly more normal audience... And I went on an obscure podcast and said, like, yeah, actually, I love the Jews, and I'm just, you know, I like being edgy online. None of the normal love people would give a shit. Now, you guys would. Everyone here would go insane and unsub, but I'm just saying, like, this is getting increasingly more common, where people will let their real... The mask will slip in less popular videos or on other people's podcasts and stuff, and no one will ever know, because, like, unless you're obsessed with Twitter or something, who's gonna be spreading around those clips of the truth? Chud is often a reaction to honest reality. Only normie takes are fence sitting and not facing reality. Yep. Again, like, I just... The state of YouTube content is just... Every time you think it can't go lower, it does. But it's not lower in the sense that people really understand. It really is just the soul versus soulless thing, is all it is. Because, yeah, on an editing level, on average, YouTube content has never been higher. But in terms of real content anyone would actually want to listen to as a human being and retain any of it, it's rock bottom. You know, you just think of, like, again, like Moist Critical, Asmongold, Turkey Tom, these type of people who just produce dog shit. I mean, worthless fucking dog shit that will not affect anyone and is realistically not interesting at all, but it's propped up by, you know, lowest common denominator humor and, you know, spicy drama shit, that kind of stuff. Speaking of grifters, you hear that side scroll? Yeah, I was going to talk about that. Side Scroller signed a deal with Microsoft. Again, I don't want to start shit, even though people think I always... If I give my opinion on anything, my honest opinion, that is starting shit, of course. But let's all pretend that's not what that means for a moment. But come the fuck on. Right after their Game Awards thing was a huge scam, Craig immediately sells out to Microsoft. Oh my god. I say immediately, it's like 3 months ago. You get the point. They're out of money. The show's dying. Like, I just... Again, you know, I swear to you, I'm not saying this start drama with anybody, but... At what point do you distance yourself from the show? Like, what? You can't. You cannot be associated with that shit anymore if you have self-respect. I'm just saying. These people, the problem is everything is nepotistic to some degree in this day and age. Everyone thinks of... When people think of nepotism, too many people think of the genetic component, like you hiring your family, but so much of it is just like these weird
incestuous feeling friendship things.
How have I just said
Incestuous.
after I said it wasn't incest? Did you like that? You know, these cliques. I hate these high school cliques that YouTube has devolved into.
It's so fucking gay, man.
It really is gay. I don't know. I've always been misanthropic, so obviously, I don't know. I'm the type of guy who's not gonna cling to a friendship if it ain't working out. You know? It's happened many times. But, yeah, I don't know, dude. YouTube is so
fucking gay
these days. That's just all I want to say. It's not even like I don't want to associate with people. It's just all the people who are the type of people who want to not even collab. I don't think collabing it has anything to do with it necessarily, but just people who want to all be buddy-buddy in like some kind of gay group of some kind, none of them are trustworthy at all. They're just not, because again, it's this libertarian like business shit. You can't trust it. I was listening to some video recently. There's this weird rise of like pseudo-intellectual libertarians on YouTube, and I like some of their content. I won't lie. Like Tax Brass is one of them, where I think some of his videos are pretty good. But whenever it comes to them mentioning the far right, they always go full love. And it's just like, when will you guys accept your ideology will never accomplish anything because you will never take action? If you, and the funny thing is, a lot of these people, like Count Dankula is one of the ones who will at least acknowledge, like, yeah, voting is not the solution to our problem. Okay, but libertarians have literally no motivation to cause violence because all they care about is the money angle. The people who have nothing, you know, who are trodden by society, those are the people that are going to turn into the authoritarian right-wing people who will actually take action. If libertarians did things, I would respect them, but they don't. So, I can't even remember the YouTuber, but it was another guy I was listening to where he was talking about, like, all these problems with left-wing ideology, and then just out of nowhere, he was shitting on the far-right stuff. Oh my god, you glitchy-ass game! Anyway, he was just talking about, yeah, he was roasting the left, and then out of nowhere, he's just like, yeah, well, the right-wing shit, you guys are just socialists. I get it, national socialists. It's like, I'm not gonna pretend I have the most well-defined political opinions in the world, because that would be a lie. For me, I go off vibes, and my vibes are billions must love it. Not literally, but, you know. The point is, I know for a fact that
violence it's not just the answer, it's the only one.
Right? Of course, I would never, ever advocate for that, YouTube, ever. But it's the only way out. And if these libertarians agree that it's the only way out, then they wouldn't really be libertarians. Synth is commie? Yeah, I'm the biggest commie. I'm the biggest communist who's ever lived. The Real Game Awards was just a test drive Microsoft put them through so Microsoft could have its own award show, Grifters or something. Nah, I doubt it. I think he's just out of money, and he probably did. Craig probably did. I just don't even care anymore, as you can tell. I just want to get through this. Who cares about getting discovered? Just go. Just go for it. Anyway, I think Craig did exactly what, like, these private equity firms do with companies, where he just, in the short term, he inflated the value of I keep wanting to say Screw Attack, of, you know, his show. Dude, my brain is fried today. I can't think of any names. You get the point. His podcast. Side-scrollers. I finally thought of it. Side-scrollers. He wanted to inflate the value of side-scrollers, so he somehow, like, jewed some Microsoft people into believing it actually has value when we know it doesn't. But yeah, I don't know. There's plenty of people who disagree with me on various game opinions. That's definitely not my concern. But every time it's someone who's like, he's mind broken by woke or whatever, you know, then it's like, oh, I get it. I get it. You're a supreme love or controlled opposition, and there's no exceptions. Zero exceptions. I remember when a bunch of Friday Night Tights crew was simping for David Zaslav, thinking he would save Warner Brothers from wokeness, and then Barbie and Kill the Justice League came out after. Again, like, if one of these people is selling hopium about a modern, high-budget production piece of media, it doesn't even matter what medium it's in, TV, movies, video games, or whatever, you cannot trust these motherfuckers. I'm not saying that you should be completely doomer all the time. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying, if they're selling you hopium, then they're probably a grifter. There is no reason to have a hope right now. Like, that, the only reason you would sell people hope is if you're literally selling something. You know what I mean? When it comes to you versus other YouTubers, I think most of them know what's going on to some extent, but they can afford to be detached from reality. Like boomers, they're too comfortable. Well, too many people treat YouTube as primarily a business. Well, I think that I don't even think there's anything wrong with treating YouTube primarily as a business, to be clear. But the problem is that when you are purposely, you know, being as dishonest as possible to protect the business, that's when I have a problem, you know? Like, I'm not even asking, like, I'm not gonna ask every Friday night Tights guest to talk about the Jews or something. That's not even what I care about. What I care about is, them,
Clank? Clank?
doing everything in their power to,
Captain Quark?
you know, control what woke is, like, not address what real left-wing propaganda, like, what the purpose of left-wing propaganda is, you know what I mean? Like, is there,
This place is having one heck of
I think,
storm.
there's no point in asking this question, because I think everyone's going to say yes, but it really just feels like they have handlers, the handlers say, no, you can't talk about white erasure, blah, 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 to any significant degree. But that's kind of what surprised me about the Despot selling out thing, where it's like, he did talk about in his British ads vid, kinda, and then he praises Sinners, which is like one of the at least more obvious anti-white movies. Like, it is kind of obvious. Yeah, you can't trust anyone these days. People were saying, I was kind of joking, but kind of not joking last stream when I said it really is a litmus test, like if someone's trustworthy, depending on like how they feel about me. I'm not saying they have to like me, and I think if someone has never heard of me, that's fine too, even though I know who has heard of me, and it's most of the people we talk about have heard of me, absolutely. But if they say they don't like me, then they're not trustworthy in most cases. Like, it's just that simple. I don't care about anyone who disagrees with me. That's completely fine. But if they say they just don't like me, period, then they're not trustworthy. Obviously, I'm extremely biased when I say this, but it's just a pattern I've noticed. Every person who directly dislikes me is either a grifter or some kind of, like, degenerate. You know? And not like the degenerate, haha, I jerk off to weird fetishes, because, you know, I don't think I have to explain that one. But the kind of like, you know, either they're hiding something or they're a far leftist.
Stranger than heaven.